Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to Salam Media. It is the first show of 2022. Happy New Year. May the year bring blessings to everybody. And let's have a blessed and prosperous one. And let's make magic this year. Talking about magic. AFCON 2021 is a year. Many people wondered why I'm saying 2021 because it has been postponed and it's now taking place this year. Yes, the round 16 is underway, and we've seen a couple of surprises come round of 16. We've had the South African referee Victor Gomes taking charge, showing exactly why he's being selected to referee at the tournament. Top class stuff. If you look on the cricket side of things, South Africa have beaten India in the Test series. Today, they've claimed victory of the ODI series, going up 2-0 by beating India today in that match, which they obviously won by 7 wickets. So that's amazing news that's happening right there. We've got Curry Cup action that's underway. The oldest rugby tournament in the world. We've seen a couple of upsets thus far. I mean, the Pumas beating the Lions. Um, the Sharks narrowly beating the Griquas. So it's nice to see that the Minnows are up against the Giants, giving them a tough run for their money. Tomorrow we're gonna have the URC that will be back. We've got a match in Joburg and one in Pretoria where the Bulls will be taking on the Stormers while the Sharks will be taking on the Lions at Emirates Airline Park. So it's a jam-packed weekend of sport. I mean, every sports lover's dream. Well, but first up, we're going to be chatting all things AFCON. I'm going to be chatting to Mpho Mutloane, who's going to be telling us everything that's been going down at the AFCON and some of the things that caught his eye. Could it have been the players, certain matches, and was there any surprises? Much like defending champions going out in the opening round. Mpho, good evening. Thanks for joining me on Salam Media. It's always great chatting to you. Tell me
Thank you very
something,
much,
man.
Takir. It's awesome for you guys to have me. I'm really excited.
I think I wouldn't be doing justice to the show if we didn't start with the Proteas, seeing that you have the
Hmm.
Proteas jersey on. Let's look at things. I mean, there was a lot of disruption in the camp before this game. Many
Mm.
didn't expect the Proteas to perform at the level that they did. And now, once again, they proved that they could knock India off their throne and doing so handsomely with 7 wickets to spare.
Yes,
Tell me about
yes,
that
that
match.
yes, that's really true. And it speaks of a team that understands its identity a little bit more. I think India are. I think at the start of the series, you kind of wanted to find out where we placed the series because we've got a T20 World Cup next year, and the ODI World Cup's in like a year and 10 months away, and so. India are trying to find themselves. They're trying to find the right bowling combinations, where South Africa are a lot closer to doing that in spin friendly conditions in PAL. South Africa in the first game bowled like 26 overs of spin. Today they got
Mm,
close to that. And the key calling card for South Africa is that the batting, just like in the Test series, is much better than India's, and they find themselves. And you think about it, India's got Virat Kohli, they've got all these other great
yeah.
batters in that lineup, KL Rahul. They are really missing Rohit Sharma, who's injured, and I think he would be this changer in the key
Mm,
to the series. But it's been a really great effort to see how South Africa have, especially today, bounced back in terms of bowling after bowling not so great in the power play, but in the middle overs with Petruguayo, with Magala, with Shamsi and Maharaj, they were able to bring the game back. And 287 was a total I thought is a winning total at Paul. But on the strip that they're playing today, South Africa really showed, especially with Yanaman Malan, who was the nominated for ODI Player of the Year this year, really came through with Quinton de Kock, half centuries at the top, 100-run partnership at the top.
mm.
That's how you want to play T20 cricket. And it seems like South Africa's found some sort of a mojo and a formula to play ODI cricket. So really excited to see them do this. And I hope that they can remember this and replicate it as they play throughout the Super League, because they still need to qualify for the World Cup. This series means nothing.
Let's talk a bit about Paul and the conditions. The fact that South Africa bowled first, we know that the conditions in Paul was excruciating today, 41 degrees. Do you think that had a massive impact on their performance? I mean, going out to field and bowl while the sun wasn't at its hottest, do you think that could have been something that worked in their favor?
Yes, and it's something I thought in the first game that batting second could be important because you get the better of the conditions, especially today, because today was about 40 degrees in Paarl. 2 days ago it was around about early 30s, and essentially normally in day games you want to bat second because the pitch gets better as the day goes by, and you
Mm,
got that sense with the Proteas today as they were batting. It was a lot better. There wasn't a lot of seam movement of the surface with the ball, even though the white ball doesn't do much. And so, yeah, look, it worked in South Africa's favor, batting second. The pitch didn't deteriorate that much, and the spinners of India with Ashwin and Chahal are not on form, so they couldn't put South Africa under pressure. And the key about South Africa is the captain, Temba Bavuma. He
mm.
just rotates strike. He doesn't care. And that's one of the keys to this team is you need to take singles as at every opportunity, especially against the world's best spinners, and they did that today.
I think that you spoke about is key because if you look at it, it's there's no one that's looking to be the star of the show. People just come in there, do their business, move on. And I mean, it's solid knocks like that. I mean, if it's a 30 run, 40 run contribution, it helps knock down that overall total. And that's the kind of spirit that we want to see in this Protea team. Going into the last match at Newlands, do you see any changes in the team? Do you see Wayne Parnell getting a run? Do you see the Proteas changing the lineup or sticking to the same 11 going into the final match of the series?
Um, I don't think there'll be changes. I think you might see Marco Jansen coming for Sisanda Magala, or you might see maybe a Zibe Hamza get a run in the side. He's batted really well. Carl Verena was unlucky
Hmm.
to not make the side this series, and so you think that possibly they could get an opportunity, maybe rest Quinton de Kock, give Carl Verena a run, see what you can, maybe open with Timber or push Aiden up to open. Um,
Mm.
but I do think now that they've won the series, they can make as many changes as they'd like, and
No,
I'd love for them to
definitely.
try younger players.
Mm. It's going to be quite interesting to see how things unfold in that final match of the series. Will South Africa take um, a clean sweep of the series against India? This will be one to remember for many, many, many years. Looking at it now, we've got the T20 World Cup not too far away. Would you have liked to see more of a T20 setup, a T20 team in place for this tournament to kind of prep them for the T20 World Cup? Because looking at it, we don't have much T20 matches building up to the World Cup.
I agree with you, but remember with Omicron, the series got cut. So they cut a test match and they cut the T20 series. I actually would have thought
Mm,
they would have played the T20 series instead of the ODIs. But it's what India, the BCCI agreed with CSA. It's also, I think, is a broadcast rights thing. And so I think South Africa's a little bit focused on the ODIs because you've got the Super Leagues coming up,
mm,
and you kind of not want, because India qualified for the World Cup because it's at their home ground. We haven't. We still need to
mm.
qualify. So that's one of the other things that I think South Africa are considering, regardless of the T20 World Cup in November.
No, interesting. And we'll just have to wait and see. And I'm hoping that the Proteas can break that duck that we've been having in the World Cups. Because once again, a World Cup year, they perform in quality, top class performances before that. And then always we have this dip where come big tournaments where we get that BMT and we just don't live up to expectations. But enough for the Proteas. Let's move over to AFCON. Even though Bafana's not there, we've been watching our African brothers do their thing on the pitch. Round of 16 up next. Did you see any upsets in the group stages?
Look, I think we've come through the round of 16. We've come through the group stages, and we saw a lot of upsets there. Comores making it through. Ghana, you got Equatorial Guinea making it through over Algeria, beating Algeria 1-0, the defending champions. We watched Ivory Coast look very good against Algeria in that last game. And you find yourself sitting in the round of 16 like Bafana was sitting there 4 years ago well, 2 years ago in 2019, having to play Egypt in Egypt. And
Mm.
anything can happen because Bafana won that day. So there's some upset that could come through. But like a big shout out to the teams like the Comores. They've qualified for the round of 16 for the first time. Malawi qualified for the round of 16 for the first time in their history. And you find yourself like, for instance, a team like Nigeria. Nigeria have won all three of their games. The only team in the tournament who've won all three of their games. They're up against Tunisia, who are former champions. They haven't played that great. They haven't played that well, but they find themselves in a situation where they can redeem themselves by maybe taking a
Mm.
stop off of a red hot Nigeria team. On the other hand, you've got Egypt versus Senegal. Senegal have probably played and also kind of struggled in the tournament, Egypt as well. But then they find themselves in a situation where between Sadio Mane and Mo Salah, one of them goes back to Liverpool. The question is who would it be? So I'm excited for the round of 16, and those are the games I think are the ones that we need to be looking out for, because I
Mm.
think they're the ones where an upset could possibly happen. There are some other interesting games as well in this tournament. But one thing that I've been taught by AFCON is that in the round of 16 stage, you can have favorites, you can have underdogs, and the underdog can always just somehow find a way to get through.
Mm.
But so far, I've been excited by Cameroon. I think Cameroon have a very strong chance of making it through all the way as a host nation. We haven't had a host nation actually do something substantial in an AFCON since I
Mm.
think it's like back in 2011, and that's a very long time ago. So I think for me, the teams to watch out for, Take, are Cameroon, Nigeria, if they get through Tunisia. The winner of Egypt and Senegal is going to have a really nice time in that quarterfinal, as well as Equatorial Guinea. I think Equatorial Guinea
Mm.
play Morocco. I might stand under correction, and that's a really interesting opportunity for them, because they've qualified for the round of 16 three times, but they've never been able to get through. And
Mm.
so a team like
With
Equatorial Guinea with some really great guys and a great team that plays some really good football could make it through to the quarterfinals. And round of 16, anything can happen. And we've seen
Yeah.
that even in the group stages, anything can happen in this tournament. Victor Gomez also presiding over some really interesting games in this tournament. So where anything can happen, and he made himself the star of the game, which is Victor Gomez like. But from an AFCON perspective, those are the teams I'd be looking out for going into
Mm.
next week.
I mean, it was nice seeing a familiar face in the AFCON. I mean, seeing that our Bafana couldn't be there. We've got our penalty specialist, Victor Gomes, coming in and taking charge of a match. And I mean, it was nice seeing that South Africa's the quality of referees we're producing gets to go to the top. And I mean, this a stage bigger than this would possibly be the World Cup. And this is the nice thing that we can say, that even though people can say what they want to about the quality of our local football, um, look what we're producing. We're producing international quality referees at the same time. So that's nice to see. And I think that was quite cool. But Mpho, you know what? Any predictions from your side on who you see going through to the final?
The teams I see going through to the final, that's a tough one. Um, but look, I think you've got Nigeria, you've got Ivory Coast, you've got Cameroon, who are the
Mm-hmm.
front, right? Then you've got the next tier, which is like Burkina Faso, Mali, Egypt, Senegal, who one of them is going to go
Mm.
through, and possibly even a Morocco,
You can only pick
who
two.
haven't played great.
Two. You've mentioned so many
Look, I
teams there.
know, but I think for me, it's those three. So it's between the host nation, Cameroon,
Mm-hmm.
Nigeria, and Cote d'Ivoire. They've played the best
Yeah.
football out of all the teams in the tournament. I watched Cote d'Ivoire. They've got Wilfred Zaha is benched. They sub off Nicolas Pepe of Arsenal, and they bring on Wilfred Zaha of Crystal Palace when they already have Sebastian Halle, who used to play for West Ham and plays for Ajax, as their front man. And they've also got Max Bredal, who is no scrub. And then you've got a midfielder like Frank Kessie and Sere D, and it's like the Ivory Coast team is great. It's strong. But if you look at the
Mm.
Nigeria team, you've got Kelechi Iheanacho, you've got got Odion Igalo, you've got Alex
Mm,
Iwobi, you've got Joel Aribo who plays for Rangers. But the one thing I want, and those are my top two teams. The problem is that I can't let go of that Cameroon team. They're playing at home. They've
mm,
got the crowd behind them, and it's one of the few tournaments where we've seen like crowds in Africa, which is awesome. And
yeah.
um, and Vincent de Boubacar is just going wild. Top goal scorer in the tournament.
Mm,
He's scoring goals for fun. And Cameroon with not a lot of stars. It's an aging-ish squad. Trying to bring in some new youngsters in there with Abubakar there who I think defies age because I think he's been playing for the last 10 years and people still say he's
yeah.
24. And
Very African
and
like,
on
eh? Very
top of
African
that,
like.
so for me, if I can give you three, it would be those
Mhm.
Cameroon, Nigeria, and Cote d'Ivoire. I think that's where this tournament is going to sit and die, unless if someone decides to have a game of their lives.
Mm. Well, we're gonna have to wait and see, but that's where we have to leave it for tonight, Tumpo. Thanks for your insight, and I look forward to chatting to you as this tournament unfolds, and we can see if those three teams of yours can make it through to the final, and if they will actually survive. Who is gonna survive of your three choices? I mean, there can only be two teams in the final and one winner. We'll have to wait and see. Mpho, thanks once again for your insight and sharing your knowledge with us on a bit of cricket and some football this evening. I hope you have a great weekend further and make the most out of it. I mean, sport is back, and you know how it goes. There's no rest for the wicked.
Thank you very much, Take.
That was Mpho Mutloane giving us a breakdown on what's happening in AFCON and also what's going down in the cricketing world. Just to give you guys an update on what's going down in AFCON, we are through to the round of 16. And to confirm those fixtures, we do have Burkina Faso that will be taking on Gabon. And then Nigeria takes on Tunisia in the big one. This will be taking place on Sunday. On Monday, we've got Guinea taking on Gambia, while Cameroon take on Comoros. This will be an interesting one to see if the host nation can actually get one over the surprise package of this tournament. Senegal do take on Cape Verde, while Morocco will be taking on Malawi. This is going to be an interesting fixture because our controller right here, Sadiq, will be supporting Malawi all the way, and he's taken me to task for not watching all of Malawi's matches. But hey, I guess I'm going to have to start sometime soon. On Wednesday, the final day of the round of 16 matches, we've got Ivory Coast who will take on Egypt, and then Mali take on Equatorial Guinea in the final match of the round 16 that will take place on Wednesday, the 26th of January, with that kickoff taking place at 9 o'clock. Well, that's all we have from the AFCON side of things. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to be chatting all things rugby. We've got the Curry Cup that took place earlier this week, 2 rounds of Curry Cup under the belt, and also United Rugby Championships taking place tomorrow. We're going to be chatting to analyst Matthew August, who's going to be giving us a breakdown on what exactly we can expect coming from the URC tomorrow. Stay tuned to Salam Media. Don't move. When we come back, we're chatting all things rugby.